Welcome to the K-pop Callout, a podcast where we have the conversations that K-pop fans don't have. I'm Honest,
And I'm True.
and today's discussion topic is going to be part 2 of To Stan or Not to Unstan.
Yeah, so this is again part 2 to the previous episode's discussion. So if you haven't listened to that one, we strongly recommend that. So we'll just continue from where we left off.
Yeah, but anyways, so it was kind of hard at first after I decided to unstan them because there was a huge void in my life when I decided to cut them and their music out. I remember being unsure of how to preoccupy myself or what to listen to instead of their music for a while. I mean, I listened to other music obviously, but it was more like I had a problem trying to find other music that I liked as much as theirs and that I was in the mood to listen to. Yeah, that's hard when it's you, because if you have your ultimate group or your ultimate whoever you're whatever artist you really stand a lot, you listen to their music way more than any other type of music generally. So then when you cut them and their music out, then you're kind of okay, what do I fill the void with? What do I want to listen to as much as their music?
You can even get an identity crisis from that. That's happened to me. Suddenly I got sick of my favorite music genre, and I had no idea what to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so, it sounds kind of silly, but it affects you so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. There, I said, I can't think of any other word except just a void. There's just this huge gaping hole sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the time I remember thinking and feeling like I would never find an artist that I like as much as them again too. So that was part of what made me feel just kind of really sad and empty, is I was I liked them so much and I don't know if I'll find another artist or another group that I like as much as them and whose music I like as much as theirs. But fortunately, that wasn't the case. I did start standing a couple of other artists not long after I unstan that group, and that helped a lot, obviously, to help in terms of kind of filling that void, and because I had new music to listen to and new content to watch and new artists to kind of I don't know, get to know sort of, and to kind of preoccupy myself with. So I was able to move on pretty easily and not feel that void anymore once I started standing some other artists, and also just paying attention to other artists in general, other new, K-pop releases, kind of being more open to sort of what other, I mean, I've always been open, but you know how it is where you kind of go through these waves where you're more open to exploring than other times,
Yeah.
So when you're really into an artist, you might be less into exploring other artists because you just keep comparing other artists' music to theirs. But when you kind of get sick of their music or something happens, then that's kind of, you start to explore more and be more open to other artists and other music.
Yeah. Or just when they are really, really active, you have no time for others. But when they are very inactive, you start to seek for other things to watch and listen to. And you're like, what am I doing if they're not putting out anything?
Yeah. So, and I did have some lingering negative feelings towards the group for about a year and a half, following the incident. But now, these days, I feel fine and I don't have any more negative feelings towards the members at all. And I won't ever stand them again, but I've made my peace with the situation now and don't feel bothered by it anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, so that was my answer to that question.
Yeah. I'm really happy that you've been able to have your peace with it, because that's I guess the biggest thing that matters. Things like this shouldn't affect you for too long.
Yeah, I think it affected me for long enough, I processed that incident and those feelings for a long time. And now I'm kind of, because it's been a long time since then, like I can kind of, I feel okay. I feel okay with it now. Like I don't feel any, like I said, negative feelings towards them.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, you can like share sort of like your experience too, like kind of in like after like deciding like to not unstand them or to keep standing them now if you want to.
Yeah. So, my feelings were disappointment, sadness. Who am I even standing? Like,
Mm.
that was more
So that
of
was how you felt.
your.
That was how you felt after you decided to keep standing them. Is what you're
Yeah.
saying? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
After.
not as, but was it like that sorry, just to clarify. Was it like that before you kind of made that decision too? Like did you just kind of continue feeling that way, or did you kind of like when you made the decision you felt you didn't feel that way, but then it was like afterwards? Or like
Both.
okay.
Like, during the process and after, it started getting better from the point of like my decision, but like it was still like that for months. And
So
like,
feeling disappointed, feeling sad, and like kind of like
who am I
questioning
even
who you're stand.
standing?
Yeah,
Like,
who questioning who you're standing.
that's that was more like your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you talked about it a lot. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt like that too, especially since, my very, very, very ultimate bias uh, was in this group.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, especially about them, um,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, I don't know. I started feeling weird about them, especially. I mean, that's how it was before too, but like, it's just like, um, for you, um, one of the qualities that you liked about your bias was like the fact that they always seemed like they care about other people. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's why this incident like really um
Like shook
really
my perception of
yeah,
them. Yeah, yeah, because yeah.
yeah,
And I didn't mention that earlier, but that was something I had told you before. Yeah, like that was like one of the big things I liked about them is it seemed like they were really caring and thoughtful, and empathetic, and like that's kind of how I had viewed them. So I was just very, very shocked and unsettled by what I like what we witnessed. It just completely shook my perception of them because
yeah,
I just never thought that they would say or do something like that, and it was totally at odds with how I viewed them or how the type of person I thought they were.
yeah. Like, even though I did feel that way about my bias too, that wasn't like the quality, or like one of the biggest qualities that made me like them or stand
Mm-hmm.
them. Like, yeah, but also like I had so many other things, or like some other qualities were like the qualities that like made me stand this person.
Mm-hmm.
um and I was very, very bothered by the fact that by this point, the group members must have known about it, but still didn't apologize. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty sure that they had seen some people calling them out. Maybe, like, we don't have proof of that, or like we can't be 100% sure. But because
Mm-hmm.
really many people did not talk about this, but we um like the two of us and like some of our friends uh that we like made the templates with were like
Mm-hmm.
really working hard based on the idols actions. Like, it seemed like they were maybe tweeting less, and like they looked kind of awkward whenever they went on live.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, maybe it was just me imagining things, but like I felt like they must know, or like I was
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure that they knew,
Mm-hmm.
but they still chose to like ignore everything. So that bothered me the most.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the company could have told them to shut up about it. But if an idol actually wants to, they say stuff without their permission. Like,
Yeah.
ultimately, they don't care.
Yeah. They ultimately, like, they have free will. And, like, there have been plenty of times where idols have even, like, bashed their companies or said things that obviously the companies wouldn't want them to say. So it's like, they're not completely controlled by the company. And also, I just think the company didn't care, too. Like, whether they apologize or not, like, the company is just like, we're not going to do anything. That's just their thing. Either way, they're not going to do anything. But, like, whether the idols apologize or not, like, I don't think the company would care either way. They just don't want to do anything because they just don't care.
I had a feeling that the company had told them, or like...
You're making assumptions. I know that was, like, a theory that, like, a lot of fans had, and I felt like as an excuse, they're like, oh, if the members had a choice, they would. It's just the company is stopping them. But it's like, you're just writing some fictional novel because there's like absolutely no basis for that. Like, there's no evidence.
Yeah, regardless, even if they told them to shut up, it's not an excuse to shut up, because it's not like they'd actually get fired. And these idols most likely know that they won't get fired. Like, I don't know if some companies would do that, but not this one. Like,
yeah, like some companies, like, probably, like, their idols are more disposable, but, like, I think for most companies, because they invest so much in the idols, and also, like, they know that they have more to gain, obviously, from keeping them and letting them go, like, they're not gonna, like, fire the idols, like, pretty much no matter what they do, I feel like.
Yeah. So I felt like they didn't actually see the apology being important enough. And by this point, my biggest concern was not the future arguments anymore. Like, now it was clear that this was a decision that they made, the idols made. So I was more concerned about their morals now. So yeah, it just didn't get easier for a while.
Yeah.
So I distanced myself from the group for maybe 3 to 4 months, which doesn't sound like a lot.
Like, distance in what way?
I was probably still looking at all of their posts. But like, I was not like... It's hard to like say what I did during this time, because I don't really even remember. But like, I just couldn't enjoy what they did, I guess. Like, I was following also to kind of like see, I guess still I was maybe holding hope that maybe there could be something. But also I just wanted to, I wanted to get the updates or whatever, but I just could not enjoy them for like 3 to 4 months. So when push came to shove, I actually could find myself something else to do for that short period of time. I think. I don't really remember how I survived, but yeah, I just know that I wouldn't have been able to do that for like long or forever. So yeah, I just love them too much.
It doesn't really sound like a break from them. To me, it sounds like more like you just couldn't enjoy stuff, basically. But you didn't take like a formal break. It's not really a break, though.
I didn't need to take like practically a break from them, I guess, because I didn't choose to unstan. But it's just the emotional process, or like what I was thinking is what makes standing, right? So yeah, even though I was standing, it was kind of on a break. Like, I was upset at them.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point where I relapsed, and then from there, I started trying to be okay with it in my mind. So yeah, I'm mostly okay with it, mostly moved on, but still, I've never forgotten, and I would say it's like still in the back of my mind. So yeah, I never went 100% back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I kind of wonder, like, would you agree with the statement, or like, I guess I just kind of want to clarify that I'm understanding this correctly. Like, so like for me, because I unstand them and it's been like a long time now, like I've like completely made my peace with this whole thing. But I wonder, like, for you, because you continued to stand them, do you have some kind of like lingering, like, negative feelings or guilt or kind of unresolved feelings or conflicted feelings because you kept standing them, I wonder?
I think because I kept standing them, like that's the reason why I still have some feelings lingering from it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was kind of like my goal. Like, I never wanted to forget completely. I never wanted to like be okay with something like that, like 100% okay. Like, I'm not okay with what they did, but I guess I'm okay with the fact that they did that right now. Like, it's slightly different. Like, I wouldn't do that, but like I can separate myself from like them. Like, just because I continued standing them, like, doesn't mean that I have to be okay with every single thing that they've done. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you feel like you like kind of like subconsciously like punished yourself, or like the reason why you couldn't enjoy their content for a while was kind of like some sort of like subconscious like guilt or shame thing for continuing to stand them or something? Just kind of curious. Like, it's fine if you don't know, or if that wasn't the case. I'm just like kind of like wondering, like, because I guess like for me, my feelings were ended up being resolved by an action, which was choosing to unstand them. Like, I kind of was like being true to my values and like feelings, sort of, by choosing to unstand them and cut them out. But for you, because you stayed, I wonder, like, did the conflicted feelings last longer, or did you feel like you kind of like maybe were like kind of maybe, I don't know if punished is the right word, but do you feel like you were kind of punished longer, or punished yourself at all for staying because you didn't do anything to kind of resolve those like kind of conflicted feelings?
Well, the emotion stayed for like longer, even though I said that like I distanced myself from them for 3 to 4 months. Like, I was quite bothered still, like, months after that too, because I was standing them pretty heavily after that. But later, naturally, when I got less interested in them, that's where kind of like it bothering me also left me, or like most of it, I guess, or like around the same time. I don't really remember.
It bothered you less, or like it kind of, those feelings kind of went away?
Yeah, as I started to be less obsessed with them or dependent on them. But like, I don't think it was a punishment for me. Like, I couldn't enjoy their content because, like, kind of like for the same reason as you. Like, they, especially my bias, was like tainted in my mind. Like, I didn't punish myself because I felt like I did everything that I could in that situation. And like I was a part of trying to make the templates and like sending out the templates and stuff, and I was speaking up. So I felt like this is everything that a fan, and like more than a fan, should even have to do ever. Like this is not my responsibility. This is the idol's responsibility. So like I felt pretty good about what I had done, honestly.
And did you feel like you made the right decision then to like keep standing them? Like both, I guess like that's my question for both, like initially back then and also now. Like, do you feel like the same, or is it different now as opposed to back when you first made your decision?
It's hard to say because, or like, there's no right or wrong decision. But for
No,
me,
I'm not saying like right. No, I'm not
yeah,
saying like an objective sense because it's not
yeah,
objective; it's subjective. I'm saying like, do you feel like it was the right
yeah,
decision for you? I guess, or in general, or something. Like it's all subjective, though.
yeah. For me, if I could, I could have unstand them too. Like if it was a choice, maybe it would have been better and like easier to like completely cut them off like you did. Because I think I suspected that that would happen. Like with you, it did, because like your action of unstanding them resolved all those feelings for you. Um, yeah, actually, I think I would have regretted it if I did unstand them completely, maybe, because
Oh,
I
really?
I still love them. So like, um, yeah, today I still love them very much, and like, I don't regret continuing to stand them. Yeah,
All right. Well, I think we are good to move on to the last question then.
yeah,
Okay. So, the last question is, why do K-pop fans choose to unstan, and why do K-pop fans choose not to unstan, like in general? So like not necessarily based on our experiences, though it could include that, but just kind of like our theories and observations about like K-pop fans in general, why they choose to unstan and or not unstan.
yeah,
Yeah, so for me, I feel like the ultimate factor like that determines, whether they choose to unstan or not unstan, I feel like it ultimately boils down to if you feel like standing your faves brings you either more happiness or more unhappiness. And I think there are a lot of factors that play into it too, like how long you've been a fan, like either how long you've been a K-pop fan in general or specifically a fan of that artist, how much
yeah.
yeah,
That's true.
like how much importance you place on certain things, your expectations, your mental and emotional state at the time, and also your feelings about K-pop and standing in general too. Like if you view standing favorably or unfavorably overall and so on.
Yeah,
So I feel like those are kind of like the factors that kind of influence whether people choose to unstan or not unstan. But for the fans who choose to unstan, I think they usually do it for moral reasons. Like if we're talking about in the context of like something problematic happening or something, like I'm not talking about like the people who just kind of lose interest or something because that's different. If you
yeah,
just naturally lose interest, we're talking about when we say unstanding, we're talking about people making like a conscious choice to like not stand someone who they were very actively standing before.
yeah,
So I think they do it for moral reasons, usually, like I said. And I think those fans are probably more value driven, like I am. But also, I think there are fans who choose to unstand ultimately because standing their faves no longer makes them happy. And those two reasons can go hand in hand as well. So it could be either or both.
yeah.
Um, and For the fans who choose not to unstan, like, so I'm not saying I think this is like necessarily the case for you, True. Like, you can, I mean, you can decide or share like afterwards if you like think that this like pertains to you as well or not. But like, I'm just talking about like in general, like observe my observations of K-pop fans.
Yeah.
Like in general, I think a lot of K-pop fans don't unstan their faves because it's really painful and hard.
Yeah.
You disagree?
No, I don't
Okay.
disagree.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
it is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think they don't understand their faves because it's really painful and hard. And I think a lot of people just don't know how to grieve or cope with loss in general, or they feel like they don't have the capacity to withstand going through that process without being like destroyed by it, which like that probably wouldn't happen, but I think a lot of people catastrophize and also underestimate their ability to be able to withstand and overcome things. Like they think they won't be able to handle it mentally and emotionally, so they just like don't go through that process at all. They just avoid
Yeah,
it.
like, I don't
Yeah.
I don't even know, or like, I can't imagine how painful uh it must have been, because, or like, it must be, because I didn't really even entertain that idea of
Mhm.
unstanding them.
Mhm. Yeah. So they just don't do it at all. And they just avoid it and gaslight themselves and others and tell themselves what they need to in order to avoid experiencing the pain of unstanning. Like they just make excuses for the idols and or minimize what the idols did so that they don't have to feel conflicted and can just keep standing their idols in the same way with a clear conscience because they don't believe what their idols did is bad, or they're just like, quote unquote, everyone makes mistakes or whatever. And they're focused on just trying to get the positives out of standing their faves and don't want to think about the negatives or have negative feelings towards their idols. But also, like I was saying before, and I don't mean this judgmentally, I just mean it matter of factly. I think a lot of people in general are scared of change and scared of loss, especially sudden ones. Like,
Yeah.
it's normal to fear the unknown, to not want to imagine living a different kind of life that seems uncertain. Like, I think a lot of K pop fans are emotionally dependent on their idols more than they realize. And they don't want to even imagine having to live life without their idols. They feel like they they feel like that would be too huge of a loss or too big of a change. So they
Yeah.
just try to find any reasons to justify their decision not to unstand their faves so that they don't have to go through the pain and uncertainty of unstanding and living life without them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my like theory as to why I think like most K-pop fans don't unstand their
Yeah.
faves even when they do something problematic. I think like, and I know that like might get defensive or whatever, but I think if you like actually like kind of dig deep, or like if you kind of boil it down, that is what it is. It's just like the fear of change, the fear of like like living without them and not wanting that sudden change in their lives and not wanting to like lose like these people who are really important to them, which is understandable. Nobody wants that. But I just feel like at the end of the day, it's like they're just too scared, and they also underestimate their ability to be able to like handle that like they could, but they just tell themselves, no, I couldn't. So they just dismiss the thought immediately and won't even entertain
Yeah.
the idea because they're just like, no, I couldn't, I can't handle that.
Yeah, I think that's the case for
Mm-hmm.
most
Mm-hmm.
K-pop fans. It's like, I relate partly, but also, yeah, partly not. I'm not most K-pop fans. Sorry, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like still talking about my situation, but it's just interesting to compare, because like,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to avoid the pain um of like unstanding and like losing my group.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, the price of that, like me continuing to stand, is that I have to stand the pain of like and the other consequences of standing someone who has done something problematic and is perceived as having done something problematic. So like, yeah, but most K-pop fans are not ready to like withstand any pain.
Well, I wouldn't say they're not ready. I think that's what they believe.
They don't want to.
They don't want to. That's the thing. It is a choice. Like, they just don't want to. They're like, no, that's going to be painful. It's going to be hard. I don't want to even imagine living life without my faves, so I'm just not even going to entertain it. And so I'm going to do whatever I can to make excuses for them and to also make excuses for myself to continue to keep standing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my, like, kind of, I guess, observations or theories about, like, regarding K-pop fans in general. But I'm curious about, like, what yours are, like, both for, like, why you think people choose to unstan, like, why you think some fans choose to unstan, and why you think some fans choose not to unstan.
Yeah. I don't remember which one you went first, but
I did. Okay, it doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with why do K-pop fans choose to stan? Continue standing.
Yeah, so not unstan. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like I kind of started thinking about the answers by thinking about certain types of people or certain situations or like examples. So like there's the person who wants to be in complete ignorance. So they see that something happened and just ignore. Like doesn't even consider reading what happened. They just saw that something happened and they're just like, well, whatever, I'm not gonna care. I don't want to care. So like reasons for that is just like ignorance, wanting to be ignorant, lack of empathy, laziness, self-centeredness. The list goes on. And then there's the type that reads what happened but doesn't understand and or doesn't want to understand. So they often continue to make angry tweets against Unstanning, saying how dumb the fans are who do unstan. And the reasons for this are kind of similar, like ignorance, lack of empathy, laziness. But I feel like for these people, it's more like obsession, parasocialism, delusion, and like all that. Though those are the reasons for like why they act like that, like why they make the angry tweets. But I think that those also go for like why they choose to not unstan. Like
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same kind of motivation for them. It's like, like it's kind of like they have to say other people are being stupid and are wrong for, quote unquote, making a big deal out of it and unstanding, because if they don't, then that means like that's going to result in them feeling conflicted, because that means like they're in the wrong for continuing to stand them and condoning that behavior. So it's like they have to kind of say the other side is wrong in order. It's all just like defend their own egos, basically their own egos and their own decisions. They have to say the other side is wrong in order to kind of like absolve themselves of feeling any kind of conflicted emotions or negative emotions towards their idols or the situation.
Yeah. That's what everyone wants to avoid. Like,
yeah.
And then there are the people who are aware of the action being bad, but decide to stand anyways. Kind of like me. The reasons for that can be having nothing else in one's life, obsession, parasocialism, honestly. The fact that they have ways to make the action excusable, like they still can excuse themselves for standing, or like excuse the idol for doing the problematic thing. Like, I don't know if people who are aware would be able to continue standing if they couldn't excuse it in any way. And even like compassion and empathy and like even pity towards the idol, and like believing that they're still good people. So like, I guess seeing the good in the idol like outweighs all the like negative feelings. Yeah, so those were like the stan. That was the stan section,
like the ones who choose not to unstan.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
Not really. I mean, yeah, I think that you like summed it up pretty well, like the different types, like what is, like the first one was like people who are just like not paying attention or don't want to know, sort of, basically like willful ignorance of the whole thing. And then the second type is like the really like obsessive parasocial ones who will just defend and excuse everything their faves do.
Yeah, despite knowing. Yeah,
and then we'll like attack people who like have the audacity to like say what they did is problematic, or to like make a quote unquote big deal out of nothing or something. And then the last type is like basically like the sane fans, like the ones who are like, they recognize that what the idols did is problematic and they feel conflicted, but they ultimately feel like there's more, they're just focusing more on the positives and rather than the negatives, sort of, I guess.
Yeah, they still have hope in the idols, and like in the fact that they can continue standing, I guess. So the unstan section, like reasons why people would unstan. I didn't really have types of people for this one.
It's less common. So I had less for that one too, because it's less common.
Because they realize that their morals don't align with the idol's morals, so they just morally can't. Like you also said, like moral
the same
reasons.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Yeah.
So like empathy and like, I didn't list anything else, but yeah, having empathy for the other side, not the idol or the idols. Yeah. So that was everything that I had for the unstan section. But overall, do you think it's okay to continue standing even if you're like who you stand did something problematic, or are you just like a monster? Like, I mean, it depends on what they did, but like it's just interesting to explore that. Like,
that was such a dramatic way of phrasing that. Is it okay to keep standing, or are you a monster? It's so dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you think? Even though, like,
is that a question to me or in general?
I guess to you, not specifically about me. It's a question to you about K-pop or like anything generally, because you're a person who ended up unstanning. So I'm just like curious to hear what you think.
So the question is, how do I view people who keep standing even after like their idols do something problematic?
Yeah, I guess you worded it better.
I mean, like I said, I don't want to like pass judgment on people and say like, you know, you're a bad person or something, cuz like we both said, like it is subjective, and like there are many factors that influence whether people choose to like unstan or not unstan. You know, like my situation was not
Yeah.
exactly the same as your situation.
Mm.
And we're different people too, so, and like, yeah. So I mean, I guess I had kind of mentioned it before a little bit, but I guess I do kind of feel like my general impression for people who keep standing, even after their idols do something problematic, especially if it's like a pattern of them saying and doing problematic things, and it seems like they're just never going to learn or like educate themselves or like change or be better or something. I do feel like those fans are putting K-pop like above like their values and other people a little bit. Like I would be lying if
Yeah.
I said I didn't feel that way. Like I do feel like they are putting K-pop and also just kind of like their feelings and fear, I guess, above their morals and values and other people, like empathy for other people. But also I get that like this is such a complicated situation because it's kind of like I totally understand the argument of like, you know, it feels kind of I don't know the right word. I don't Not sad, but like I can understand people who would have a problem with like people sort of like reducing everything about the idol to like their problematic mistakes or incidents and disregarding like everything else, like all the good things about them. And so it's kind of like it is just kind of a matter of like what you focus on, like there is no right or wrong really, because it's like that is like a valid argument, but it's also kind of like it ultimately comes down to just like how it makes you feel. I think that's really how it is at the end of the day. It's just kind of like, did
Yeah.
that, even if you really liked the idol or idols a lot, if that incident does just kind of completely ruin like the experience of standing them for you, and you can't see them the same way after that, then like that's just how you feel. And it's not even necessarily like you're not right for choosing to focus on that, and you're not wrong, I guess, for choosing not to focus on that. It's just kind of like it is what it is, sort of. Like if you focus on it and you can't not focus on it, and you can't like feel the same way that you did about them again, and then that's just how it is. It kind of, it is a choice, but also it isn't, because we can't control how we feel.
Yeah. Like, there is that saying that like, or like I don't know if it's a saying, but people say that like people make mistakes and people aren't their mistakes, and
Mm-hmm.
also people are capable of change.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's a different thing if you want proof of that person having changed, or like if you want, yeah, if you want that person to prove it later.
Or not even just that, it's just like the fact that they did it like might just change how the way you see them and how you feel about them, and like there may not be anything that can be done to kind of remedy that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's, I'm not even talking about just apologies. I'm talking about like there are other things that um someone could do, you know, show with their actions that they care now.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, yeah.
I don't know if you know what I mean, but I have to be really vague.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'm curious, like, what do you think? Like, how do you view people who choose to unstand, I guess?
um well, it's easy to say that I view them better as people, better than people who continue standing. Um But like also, obviously, I made the decision to not unstan. So I know better than anyone how just so many components there is to come to that conclusion. And like, yeah, people have nuanced, complicated feelings, and everyone has their own reasons, like you said. And yeah, I also want to believe, or like I want to see the best in people still, even though sometimes it's just really really hard. um but yeah, like I said, people are not perfect. Everyone makes mistakes, people grow and stuff. So like I just have that kind of hope for most people. Not everyone can say that. So like I guess I don't, like when I think about those things, I don't see any option being any better than the other. Um yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not always about like proof either. I mean, like that, I think like having like, I mean, obviously, if idols acknowledge their mistake and they apologize and like, try to like demonstrate that they've like kind of like learned their lesson and that they're gonna be better and that they're gonna educate themselves more, be like careful going forward. Like, obviously that helps, but like, um,
Mm.
even if they do that, like fans are not like required to like keep standing them. You know what I mean? It's kind of like even if they do apologize and stuff, like the fact that they did it, like it might still be enough to kind of make fans like it's kind of like the damage is done and like
Yeah.
people are going to feel the way that they feel sort of about that, and it's like especially if you were like one of the fans who was like personally kind of like attacked or offended or hurt or something by what like the idol said and or did.
Yeah.
um I like totally understand like them being like, even if the idols do acknowledge it and apologize, I can understand them, being like, I can't accept the apology, or like how I feel. Like I like the damage is already done. I already know that that's like how you see us, or that's how how you perceive us or feel about
Yeah.
us, and like I can't like unknow that. I can't, now that I know that about you, I can't support you. And it's like like earlier you said that like the reason you like couldn't understand them was because you love them too much, like you had been their fan for so long, and that like you just said like you love them too much so you just couldn't. But it's like I wanted to say, and it's not about that, like it's not about like how much you love the idol, because I feel like we should be careful in how we like talk about that, because like the implication there is that choosing to unstan or not unstan is like about how much you love the idol, and it's not about that. It's really about like how does what the idol said and did, like how does it make you feel, like how does it change,
Yeah.
does it change your perception of
The
them, does
opposite
it change
side of the love. Yeah.
yeah, it well, not the obviously the opposite side of love, you think of like hate or something, but it's not the opposite
No,
side of love. Like,
I kind of said that like wrong. Like the by the opposite side, I mean there's like that side, like how you felt towards them before and how you feel towards them now. Like those things are colliding and like fighting over each other. Like which one is gonna
yeah.
win is kind of the situation.
Yeah, like exactly. Like some people, like some fans might choose to focus on how they saw the idols before kind of this sort of this incident or these incidents happen, and others are kind of thinking about how they feel afterwards. And for some fans, they can kind of like, I guess, ignore it or kind of like memory hole um like the bad things sort of, and just go back to kind of thinking about the idols and feeling about the idols the way they did before those things, or just kind of like, but other people they can't, it permanently changes their perceptions and their feelings of the idols, and that's valid. So it's not about like how much you love them. It's not a case where it's like, oh, you've been a fan for so long and you love them so much, so naturally you can't unstand them. It's not like that. It's not about that. Like you can be a fan of an idol for a long time and really love them and still choose to unstand them if they, demonstrate that they just like, don't care about everybody, or they don't respect everybody, or they think that like your identity or culture or whatever is a joke, like,
yeah.
And they treat it that way. Like, you're not obligated to feel the same way about them that you did before, now that you have this new knowledge. And I mean, like, I had kind of mentioned about like the stuff before about like mistakes and stuff like that, and like I get that like people like quote unquote aren't their mistakes, but it's kind of like it depends on what the mistake is too, because some mistakes, it's kind of like there are kind of benign mistakes a person could make, in everyday life, and that may not say anything about you. But like if you like say or do something racist or sexist or culturally offensive, or you demonstrate that you don't respect everyone, you view certain people or certain cultures as a joke, that I hesitate to even call that a mistake, because you're showing a part of yourself. You know what I mean? That quote unquote mistake says something about
Honestly.
you, and that's like, if that's new knowledge for fans. Like fans are like, okay, I thought you were like this kind of person. Like I thought you were really like, you respected everyone, you cared about everyone, like, but now you've like demonstrated or shown that that's not the case. So fans are not obligated to feel the same way that they did before, or to keep standing in the same way now with that new knowledge, now that they kind of have seen that side of those idols.
Yeah, definitely. And like even if the idol gave out an apology or something like that, we don't know if those apologies are real at all.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
could just be like
it's just damage control. It's just reputation.
Damage control. Yeah.
Yeah. That's and I feel like, I mean, not saying that all, like, because I think like there are some idol apologies like that are genuine, and like sometimes it's something really was like maybe it was something benign, like they didn't say or do something racist, but maybe there was like whatever, some situation where it was kind of like, and then they like immediately like take it down and apologize and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I like legitimately did not know like what that word meant, or like I didn't know what this was about, or something like that, and now I know, I'm sorry, this is how I respect everyone, whatever. Like I feel like there have been rare times, but like it has happened, and I feel like, okay, like that seems genuine. But it's kind of like, if the idols kind of like, because sometimes there are situations where it's like the idols kind of, it's like they knew they did something bad, but they thought it was quote unquote funny or whatever, or they just didn't care and they did it or said it anyways. And then it's like after they get all this backlash, then if they kind of write this letter of like, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah, please forgive
like
me.
after
like,
they
it's like,
see everyone's reaction.
After they get like this huge, like they thought people wouldn't take it that seriously, and then they do, and then it's like, that's just damage control. Like I feel like a lot of times it's not, they don't genuinely mean it, and then sometimes they do it again too. Like sometimes they'll do that apology if they apologize, like either if they or their company apologize, and then like sometimes they do it again, and so it's like clearly you didn't learn and you didn't mean it.
I know, like, yeah. So yeah, it's just all very complicated, and I would say there's no right or wrong. Everyone has to make their own decisions.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Are we good then?
Yeah, I think so. All right, that's it for today's discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and set notifications if you would like to get alerts when there are new episodes of the K-pop Callout.
We want you to join the conversation with us, so let us know what your opinions or theories are in the comments. We upload new episodes every month on both YouTube and Spotify. Anyways, we'll see you again for the next episode.
Bye!